To help us break down the news, we're joined by Aaron Yelowitz. He is an associate professor in the UK Department of Economics. He received his PhD from the Michigan Institute of Technology, and he is a scholar with the Cato Institute. Some pretty incredible background there. Thank you for jumping in here tonight. It's raining outside. We appreciate the short notice and coming in.
Oh, thanks.
So we asked you to crunch the numbers for us. How many workers in Louisville and Lexington earn $10.10 an hour? Do we know that?
In Lexington, it's around 81,000 workers that earn under $10.10 an hour, so somewhere between $7.25 and $10.10. In Louisville, the number's more like 142,000. So in both metro areas, it's a substantial amount of the entire labor force. In Lexington, about 250,000 people are working. In Louisville, it's about 615,000 for the whole metro area.
How many of those workers actually live in the cities that we're talking about?
Around 70% of them live in the cities, which is important because often there are arguments about where the money will ultimately be spent. Obviously, people commute from outside of Fayette County here into Fayette County. And as well, in Louisville, people commute from Indiana to Louisville as well as from the surrounding counties.
What would have been the impact of a $10.10 wage, minimum wage, saying you've got to pay people this amount of money?
It would have two effects. First off, for workers who keep their jobs, it would raise wages about $3,000 per year in the bluegrass for workers in those cities. It does come at a cost, however. When you raise the price of labor, often employers will shed jobs. If you go to a kiosk, for example, you'll see, or if you go to a store, you'll see a kiosk instead of a cashier, for example. My estimates would suggest that perhaps 2,400 jobs would be lost in Lexington, about 3,900 in Louisville.
Any guess as to what happens now, Aaron, given that the Supreme Court has made this decision in Kentucky? Where do you think we go from here?
What I would bet is we'd wait for the federal government to do something. After November 8th, we'll kind of know what direction the country's going in. Wouldn't be surprised if the minimum wage goes up to $10.10 or even perhaps $12 per hour. So what I would suspect is that lawmakers here might wait and see what the federal government does.
And of course, we don't know. Employers that have already raised that minimum wage, they could keep it there, or some could say, hey, I'm going to take it back to the federal level. So we don't know really how many are going to do that, right? I mean, that's just anyone's guess.
It will be morale draining probably to lower wages, but you might imagine that for new hires, one would bring them in at the lower $7.25, that sort of thing, and then allow them to perhaps ratchet up as they gain experience.
And real quickly, 20 seconds, were you surprised by what happened today with the U.S. Supreme Court?
I'm too old to be surprised.
Kentucky Supreme Court, excuse me.
I'm too old to be surprised by anything, but I testified in Louisville back when they were talking about this in 2014, and I thought that the city would be able to do that. In other places where I've talked about this, cities have been able to do it. So I was a bit surprised, I suppose.
Okay. Aaron Yelowitz, thank you very much from the University of Kentucky.
Thanks so much.
We appreciate it, Aaron. And you can join the conversation by leaving your comments on WKYT.com or on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think.